Okay, so I'm going to share a few different ways that we can do distance learning with students using Google Drive and Google Classroom. So teachers, I know some people are just needing some simple ways to be able to share work with students. So that's what this is. It's just, I'm not sure how to do that, something simple, and I'm going to show you a few different ways you can do that. So first, I'm going to click here on New, and I'm going to go to More, find Google Drawings. Google Drawings is a very flexible tool we can use. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make this my math whiteboard. So this allows students to work and they'll be able to share this with me. I can give them an assignment on the whiteboard or I can share a blank one with them depending on the students and what you want to do. So I'm going to go to File, Page Setup, and then we can change this. You can make it custom sized, but I often just use the 16 by 10. And then I always change the background to white just to make it look more like a whiteboard. Now, you might want your students to do some math with this. So having manipulatives at home is helpful. And students might not have a ton of things they can use. So this is something quick and easy that we can do. So if I click here on the circle, and if I hold Shift down when I draw the circle, it will stay as a circle instead of an oval or an ellipse. I'll let it go, and then come over here and change the fill color. And I'm going to leave the border black to make them easier to see. You can always change the size of this. You can make it a bit bigger. Depends on the age of your students and what you think will work best. So once I have one, I can Control or Command C, and then Control or Command V, and I can duplicate them. So I get a little set here. Then I can highlight those. Do the same thing, Control or Command C, Control or Command V. And then I have to find the 4 arrows that allow me to pull those, and I can pull them down here. And then students will have these available, and you can make as many as you need to. I can highlight all of those. Now do the same thing, and then find my 4 arrows, pull the whole section down. So I have these manipulatives at the side. And then for students, if I want to do a question, I'm going to first save this template. And of course, you'll probably make more of those, but for now, I'm going to simply, this is automatically saved in my drive. And if I want to make work for the students, I'm actually going to make a copy of it. And then I'll call it whatever I'm going to be doing. So addition 1. And then I'll click OK. And that opens up. And then now I've got all these manipulatives. And at the same time, I can also go here, pick Scribble, and then I can write a question. So I start here with my number that's black and thin. I can change that. So I click on line color. I can make it blue. And line weight, make it 4. Once I've changed it here on that highlighted first thing I drew, the next thing I do, as long as I'm using the scribble tool, it'll, oops, we're just going to do adding, I think, for now. If I make a mistake like this, I just go up here and I can undo the last thing I did. So as long as I'm using a scribble tool right now, it is going to remain at the thicker blue color. Sometimes small lines don't appear well, so sometimes you just have to do them a couple of times. So 6 plus 3, say. And then equal signs. So again, those straight lines can sometimes be tricky. So if you do it on a slight angle, it might work better. And then I'm going to go over here, click on select, and then as a student, I can pull over and work with my counters. So there's 4, there's 6, and then they would pull, there's 3 over here. I'm going to cheat a little and just grab all 3 because I can. We'll put that there. So then count up all the counters and go 9. Now, when they go to scribble, it's going to be the thinner black line. Or actually, it showed up blue, which is kind of nice. No, it is black. So they can certainly change that, and you can show them how to do that. You can do a little video tutorial for them, or just have them use the scribble tool if they've used it in the past. So that's how you can have your students do math. And then you could probably fit 4 questions on this whiteboard, have them do it on there. You could have them work on the whiteboard and then share their math on a Google Doc or somewhere else. But this just gives a whiteboard space and manipulatives which students can use. Another option is you can have a Google drawing. Same thing. I'm going to change the background to white. And then this time, I can have the students do things with shapes. So we've got all the shapes in here that we can work with. So the student could make a triangle. They could change the color of it, make it orange. And they could have this triangle here, and then they could get a text box, put the text box beside the triangle, and say, they could write information about triangles. So there's lots of different options that you can do. There's a lot you can do with this program. Google Drawings is excellent, has many different uses. Just basics right here, though. I thought the whiteboard idea might be helpful for some people. You could give them manipulatives and then give them the number sense enumeration style questions. Of course, you could also make a pattern, and you could create a pattern with shapes. You can just pick pretty simple stuff here. I might want to make this smaller so that it's there. And then again, change the color. Maybe I'll make this purple. And then, of course, I can always grab both. And then if I've created it twice, I now have a pattern. I just set it up over here. And then students could write about my pattern. This becomes patterning. So lots of different options you can do here. And then when you share that with students, you can give the instructions right on the page. So I can put text box here and just say, here is a pattern. Please explain pattern rule below. So then when they get here, they would click and you can start typing there. They might make their own text box, just depends how much they've used them. So now I have patterning as well. Another option is you might have a PDF, a PDF, or you might have a picture of some worksheet that you want to share with students. So to do that, we're actually going to go into Google Slides. And in Google Slides, I'm just going to change what the slide looks like. So it's more like a page. Click on File, go to Page Setup, go to Custom, make it 8.5 by 11. There. Now I have a blank page, and on this blank page, I can take a picture of my worksheet and then upload that image and put it into the background, and I'm going to turn that into something students can work on. So I need to take the picture, which I did before, and I'm now going to upload that picture in here. So 2 ways to do that. I can click on background here, or I can right click on the actual page itself and then choose image. And I'm going to browse, grab it here. Now, ironically, I haven't been able to go into school, so I don't actually have anything. So Basically, I just made this on another Google slide and then took a screenshot of it and saved it on my computer just to be able to show this to you. So this isn't someone else's work. This is just, I did this really quickly. So I apologize if I have not been kind to cats here. So my students are going to talk about cats, and I want them to write here and here, but they can't write there because this is a picture. I put it in the background because now this won't move around when the students are trying to work. Because it's the background, it just stays static. That way, when the students are clicking, they're not clicking accidentally on this and moving it off the page or doing things like that. So with this background, and that wasn't even a PDF, that was a picture, so you don't have to convert things to a PDF. You can simply take a picture with your device, your camera on your smartphone or an iPad or Android, and just upload it to your Google Drive and share it over there and keep it easy. But now what I do with this is I simply get a text box. I put the text box in here for students. And then I'll say, click here and write your answer. And then I'm just going to copy that, paste it, grab it, stick it down here too. So there, we've got two places to write their answer on the page. So students can read the little selection up here, and then they can write their answers in the two boxes below. So this is how you can take a worksheet that you might have really wanted to use with your students this year, and you can quickly convert it to something they can be assigned in Google Classroom. So I'll call this all about cats. So when I want to assign it, I'll just look for that in my drive and I can give it to the students to work on. Another option that we can do is we can go outside of our Google Drive, but still use something that is part of our GSuite. So if you open a new tab, or students do that at home, and they're logged into their account, and they type in the word keep, you're going to get Google Keep. And Google Keep is where they personally keep notes. So here, the Google Keep, they might have stuff in here already if they use this. If they don't use it, then they might not have anything in here. But the really neat thing about Google Keep is that they can draw things for you. So if you want them to do a drawing of something, if you want them to sketch something or draw something. So inside here, once I've selected the drawing tool, I've got a big space where I'm drawing. And I have options for the background. I can click here. I can do squares in the background, dots, ruled sheet, or none. I can keep it none for now, but you can see there's a lot of ways they could do math in here as well. This is the select tool. This is an eraser. And then I have a kind of highlighter, a thicker marker, and a thinner marker. So I'm going to select the thinner marker now. And I might not want that exact shade of blue, but if I click on this arrow here, it gives me more color options. Maybe that's the blue color I'm looking for. And then I'll change the width to a little thicker. And then I can now draw. Maybe I'm going to draw waves. Okay, and then I want to color those waves in. So I'm going to click on the highlighter here. Get a nice light blue color, as thick as possible. And then I'll simply color those waves in, like so. And of course, I'm not going to do the entire lake here because time is ticking away. So they would color that in. Maybe they're talking about something they want to do this summer. Hopefully at some point this summer, students will be able to get out and be able to enjoy the beautiful places they're used to going in the summertime. So they can highlight all of that down below. Of course, they can put the sun in. Got the sun over here. And like so, sunshine. And naturally, they would add more detail, but I'm going to stop there. So different things I can do. If I use the select tool, I can select something I've done, take that whole sun and bring it over here. I can flip it around. See if that works. And then I can pull that and stick it on this side. Maybe I want the sun to be on this side of my picture. Maybe it's getting closer to sunset. So the select tool does that. The eraser, of course, will erase things. And the eraser, you can change. You can clear the entire page, or you can erase with this small dot here. So that works fairly well. If I didn't want to do that and I made a mistake, I can use the back arrow and get that back. When students are done, I have the option here of I can export as image. And what that does is it will download it as a PNG file, a picture file on their Chromebook or their computer, which they can upload to a Google Doc or a Google Form or whatever they're working on. The other option is they simply exit the picture when they're done. You can put a title on it, Summer Wishes, and then a note, I would like to go to the beach this summer. And then they're going to click on collaborators, and this is where they would add in their teacher's name. And once they click save, that will save and share with you. You might want to have them put their initials in here, TJ, just to make it easier for you when you're getting all those images. That's a choice for you to make. So when they share that with you, it'll show up in your Google Keep, and then you would have all those beautiful art pieces shared by your students. So these are just some basic ways to have students share some work. I'm not going to cover things like Google Docs because I know people already know how to use that. These are just some other options. I hope some of that helps, and stay safe out there.